You think this whole metaverse thing will like cause internet arguments to turn into like physical fights? Like, will holograms be fighting each other? Is that possible? Like, what are the legality lines on that? Wow, so hi, hello, everybody who found me from my last video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I'm very grateful. Unfortunately, this video will have little to nothing to do with Cowboy Bebop, but I urge you not to click away just yet. I will have another video out soon comparing the two pilots of Cowboy Bebop, so please stick around for that. But again, thanks for, subscribing and liking and commenting. Anyways, hello, I'm Abby. Welcome to my YouTube channel, 1 Minute Off, and please enjoy the ride. The other day, I was, as I often do, rewatching earlier seasons of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This one so happened to be Season 8's Charlie Rules the World, in which the gang becomes so unhealthily addicted to this online role-playing game that they ultimately wrestle to, as the Always Sunny wiki puts it, define the difference between the real and virtual world.
It's like when I'm doing good in the game, I'm doing good in life.
Oh, I want to make fun of you for saying that, but I kind of know what you mean.
It's like I'm thriving.
You're thriving. Yeah, I did.
This episode, well, classically, whimsically funny in the Always Sunny fashion, was immediately followed by a commercial for Mark Zuckerberg's new Meta. It wasn't, but for the purposes of the narrative, it was the latest attempt to rebrand Facebook. And I thought about these two pieces of media for a few more minutes than I should have, and here we are in an intro to a video essay about it. So I'm sure you've all already seen these really bizarre commercials that are attempting to, casually chaperone us down this river Styx of algorithm-based hell that we're all already on. And the apparent complete lack of media training that this Harvard dropout, who actually once changed the face of social media, seems to exude. And I don't know about you, but every time I see a commercial like that, I get filled with an overwhelming sense of dread because, I don't want to live in the Matrix. Back in October, Zucky announced that Facebook would now become Meta Platforms, exhibiting his obviously remembered and absolutely incredible ability to give good brand names to social media. As I understand it, his vision is to create even more community and bring people together by creating meta worlds online. So like Minecraft or Sims, but in real life, but not, but yes. These virtual realities will allow users to interact in real time and apparently be holograms. This was his very public attempt to completely skirt the data-backed allegations that Facebook interactions were having harmful and negative effects on young people, especially girls. Instagram and Facebook were both under fire for knowingly sharing a lot of negative content, with statistics proving that the apps contributed to negative body images for 1 in 3 girls on the platforms. And it's not that these online social media platforms are the sole cause of all of this. It's more so that the people running them are actively and knowingly reinforcing these negative posts, since they tend to generate those sacred clicks. Facebook itself proved in their own research that even as people consume that negative content and become more and more depressed, they end up using this app even more, and it just becomes this horrible, awful loop of negative feedback.
Negative.
Zuckerberg knows that at this point, Facebook is known to the world as, at best boring, and at worst very, very bad. He knows that nobody outside of Facebook knows what's happening on Facebook and are living happy and full lives without it. He knows it's mostly older people, so everyone who's anyone is on TikTok. Follow me, by the way. But when you're a billionaire, why would you ever hold yourself accountable, right? And take responsibility for your actions? Or for the staff that keeps allowing this negative content to be circled around. Why make security changes in your algorithm when you could just not? you have a bunch of money to play with. So rather than taking responsibility, just start a new weird dumb project and hope all that bad press just goes away. Look, this is the same exact man who only 2 years ago was standing and sweating in front of Congress, being tried for misleading Facebook users regarding privacy on the platform by allowing Cambridge Analytica to obtain data from over 87 million users. And that's literally just the most recent security breach controversy Facebook has been in. The first time there was a security breach was in 2013, and 6 million users found out their phones and emails were being exposed, and it took a year to discover. There was the May 2018 glitch, which caused private users to become public. September 2018, hackers gained access to 90 million accounts, which they literally fixed by, not kidding, logging everyone out and asking them to log back in again. In March of 2019, millions of Facebook and Instagram users found out their passwords were being stored by Facebook in plain text files, and later that same year, both in April and September on 2 separate occasions, millions of accounts were found just sitting on a public server. That happened twice in 1 year to a total of almost 1 billion people. I could write an entire video essay about just the breaches, and even that would be just too long. So you're telling me that this guy can't go a year without facing a major security problem and then not talking about it. And now he just wants us to just completely give over our lives to him and like his stupid metaverse and just walk backwards into hell with our VR glasses glued to our faces. I'm sure you all watched Bo Burnham's latest special on Netflix, Inside, and all of the memes have been memed already. But there's one section in that special where Bo exudes some of the most horribly relevant and satirical comedy wisdom I've ever heard in a Netflix special when it comes to the exponential and almost at this point necessary inclusion of social media in our everyday lives. Plus, on top of that, the whole COVID pandemic increasing our online time even more. How that has like influenced us to like react with each other and interact with each other on the internet. And I will read it out here, in fear of copyright. I've learned something over this last year, which is pretty funny. I've learned that the real world, human-to-human, tactile contact will kill you, and that all human interaction, whether it be social, political, spiritual, sexual, or interpersonal, should be contained in the much more safe, much more real interior digital space. That the outside world, the non-digital world, is merely a theatrical space in which one stages and records content for the much more real, much more vital digital space. And is it just me, or do pirates need to take a little better fucking care of their maps? Once again, comedy seems to be ahead of the curve when it comes to this stuff, or at least Bo Burnham is. The sarcastic tone itself in the environment in which this quote was conceived is reminiscent of internet behavior. I.e., using humor as a shield to talk about bigger, more large societal issues. The meaning of meta comes from the Greek word which means on top of or alongside. Through the long toll of history and good old Western influence, meta nowadays pretty much refers to this more conceptual layer, which is beyond thing itself, and seems to kind of always have this aspect of self-awareness. And you could use that paragraph to describe so many memes, as memes themselves are kind of like this perfect example of using meta online. A lot of the time, memes derive their meaning from like the creator and the viewer's shared awareness of it as it was before and how it's been changed now. Like the Doge meme wasn't popular for so long because of the dog itself, but because of the different and creative ways people shared their modifications to it. And this is arguably something wonderful the internet has brought us, the ability to share jokes and information, which led to levels of humor nobody could predict. My sense of humor, for example, is just permanently messed up because I can't stop laughing at this. The, feeling of instant gratification you get when you understand this, like, inside joke that's been trending because of the latest news break. Or you're like, hey, I didn't like this thing. I wonder if other people didn't like it too. And you go online and you find out that, oh yeah, yep, no one liked it. It's a wonderfully validating feeling, but I think we might be nearing a point wherein that feeling is becoming more and more addictive. I said in a previous video that, it's true on the internet that we like to hate things more than we like to like them. And we just like to watch the numbers go up. This is a dangerous mixture, thrown into this like cesspool of political polarization, misinformation, and echo chambers that is the online modern landscape. All three of these things cause discourse, which of course generates these likes and views and dislikes and comments, which, will just drive a controversial post to a larger audience. Kind of thing, this story comes out every year at least once. We all know this. Clearly, nothing's being done by any of these large social media conglomerates to regulate this type of content for certain demographics. And yeah, the question of like how to regulate content online is obviously a very tricky one. The whole freedom of speech thing. I do not think the solution is like forcing us deeper into a world, like a virtual reality of instant gratification. That scares me. I could kind of like, rotate this conversation a little bit. What I think is one of the worst parts of this, online hellscape is that media entertainment conglomerates have already figured out 10 times over how to commodify meta references into literal franchises, which also generate likes and dislikes and comments and discourse. Like, I don't care if you like the Marvel movies or like any of these live action reboots or any of these, TV shows that just seem to be horrible cash grabs of like sucking the nostalgia out of us. It seems like these new versions of content are like bad on purpose almost. Not because like the minds behind them are dumb or bad, they're probably underpaid, but this slew of regurgitated stuff is inherently designed as a commercial for a product. Like, it's almost undeniable at this point, right? That the majority of like really popular movies being released by like big name Hollywood companies have been optimized to fit like a very easy reusable formula, which is like not only designed to appeal to as many people and as many demographics as possible, but just has no deeper layer to its existence other than to empty your wallet and to just keep you distracted. I'm not trying to like shit all over everything everyone likes. Like, I too have like this desire to be entertained. But I feel like there's this mind-numbing reason, right? That we'd all rather talk about the latest crappy movie and not our favorite one of the year, because people like to hate things more than we like to like them. I.e., a funny bad movie review will get way more views and generate way more talk than a review of a movie like you genuinely enjoyed. Isn't that kind of sad? And like, if you weren't there for the drama, you get thrown into this like nightmarish purgatory of like fear of missing out, like FOMO. But I mean, if you don't get updated fast enough, don't even worry, because the internet will move on to something completely different in a matter of days. When I was 14, I had a Twitter account and like a Facebook account, even though I wasn't supposed to like know how to have either. My parents had no idea, and they would have no idea how to control it, since at that point, my generation was already way more adept at all this social media stuff than our parents ever were, or ever could hope to be, because we just grew up in it. When I was 14, I thought I was like the coolest person in the world, because I could like easily access all of this information, all of these sites that my parents like just weren't even aware of, and the ones my parents always warned me about. You know, I could see this content that I knew my elders would not approve of. And when I was 14, I stuck my little nose up at all the pretentious movie critics who were talking about how all these movies are being dumbed down to fit the audience and just being turned into mindless cash grabs, because like I realized reluctantly that they're right. Like, I am very grateful for the things that the internet has brought us, but I don't think human to computer interface needs to be perfected. Basically, because...
But your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
I deleted my Twitter a year into the Trump presidency. You remember when he literally threatened nuclear war in a tweet? Social media has done a lot of good things, especially for people working in creative fields. But I feel like with the announcement of Meta, we're beginning to step into something that I don't think we ultimately want. I don't want or need to be like a hologram to visit my friend in Japan. I don't need to be like hypnotized by a tiger or gain the ability to talk to my dead grandma. Honestly, like if the thought of Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse doesn't absolutely kind of terrify you, then I don't know. I feel like then maybe you might need to start consuming content that doesn't only exist to sell you something or, you know, make you click on something that you know will ultimately make you feel shitty. These companies like know they're throwing out shit. They know they're throwing us down this well, but I still have faith in us to climb out of it. Sort of. TLDR? TLDW? Well, that doesn't make sense. Delete your Twitter account. Delete your Facebook account. You can do it. It's a thing that you can do. I believe in you. You don't want to live in the Zatrix, the Zuck, and the Marktrix. No, just gonna end it. Thanks for watching this video if you made it all the way through. Surprise, surprise, I don't have a Twitter, and I don't plan on making one because I do enjoy my sanity. But you can follow me on Instagram, where I don't post much, and you can follow me on TikTok too, where I post sometimes. Please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I am planning on putting out another Cowboy Bebop video, so that should be out by next week, hopefully. Comment down below about what you guys think about Meta, but God, try and refrain from doing exactly what I talked about in this video. Thanks again for watching. I'm Abby, and I don't know how many times you can reheat coffee in the microwave without it becoming dangerous. Bye.